What's up, former party people? This is Jerry, the one who actually combs his hair on the A is for Alcoholic podcast. Now, if you're finding value in listening to the AIFA podcast every week and you want to support sharing it with others, we invite you to become a sustaining monthly or per show contributor. Go to patreon.com/AIFA. It's super easy and it only takes a quick moment. It's about as easy as buying one of those pre-cooked space chickens from the grocery store, taking it outside, giving it a big old kiss, and kicking it into traffic. Why would you do that? Anyway, you do you, and I'll do me. Again, go to patreon.com/AIFA. And with that, people, let's start the show.
A is for Alcoholic is a program about recovery. My name is John, and I'm an alcoholic.
And my name is Jerry, and I'm an alcoholic.
Join us as we go through the alphabet of alcoholism, one letter at a time. So you had a good week, Jerry?
Yeah, pretty good. Pretty good week, man. We're here in the dog days of summer in Eugene, Oregon. It's, hitting the high 70s. It's a fucking killer. Yeah. While people in the middle of the country right now are listening to this going, fuck you, dude. It's like 112. Like, my fucking dog just caught on fire.
Right.
Yeah.
So I wanted to share with you and with everybody out there. First, I wanted to say thank you to all of our patrons at Patreon. We got a new one this week.
Oh, yeah?
The person's name is Devin. And I don't know. Devin says, I said thank you for becoming a patron, and Devin says, thanks guys, you were the best. I've been listening to the podcast since I entered recovery almost 11 months ago. My boyfriend was my partner in crime while drinking and using, but continued to drink while I was sober. I would listen to your podcast while I made dinner during the week. He would actually ask for me to play it, and now, drum roll, he's 2 weeks into sobriety himself.
Rad.
I can't say you guys are the reason, and I don't think we are, but
I don't want to be anybody's reason for anything, dude.
But I think you helped him realize that real men, I'm flattered, but like himself. Oh, it's not about me. I forgot. See, Jerry? Real men like himself aren't afraid to seek help and admit they can't do everything on their own. Sincerely, thank you. Not just for how you helped me when I was feeling down and alone, but how you're helping so many others by being honest, authentic, and fucking entertaining.
Rad. Thank you. That touched my heart, dude. Oh. That's really great to hear.
So, I mean,
congratulations to both of you. Get some sparkling juice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know.
Get some La Croix and a carrot cake.
Get a La Croix, maybe a couple of CZs, a couple of Coke Zeros. Get weird, Watch Stranger Things. I don't know. That's great though, man. I love that. That I'm gonna be in a good mood after this podcast for a change.
So, and here's another one from Tatiana. And she says, hello, John and Jerry. Greetings from Colorado. Happy belated birthday to you both. And this was sent a couple weeks ago. But I know my sober birthday is very special to me, so I hope you each had a great day and your livers got you a card. And Jerry, I hope your beard went without a fight. I wanted to send you a heartfelt thanks to you. Thank you to you both for your podcast. And I have been looking for a great sober podcast and hadn't found anything that really resonated until I found yours. I like that the steps and principles are discussed, but not ad nauseum. I like that you guys are so close and that you have memories of both drinking and getting sober together. I like the way you talk about sobriety. AA is a part of my sobriety, and I couldn't do sober without it. I tried. But I also have built a lovely new life for myself that includes journaling and meditation and yoga, and those things are equally as important to me. So I appreciate you for supporting a well-balanced approach to sobriety and even exploring other avenues to sobriety. I appreciate you, and now I am listening. Your sober sister, Tatiana. So
damn, dude. Wow. Thanks, Tatiana and Devin. Y'all are dope. Yeah. And Devin's, old man, partner, whatever. Homie.
I think that's really cool because, it's hard. I mean, if you have somebody if you're drinking and then you get sober, and then I've heard stories of where the other person
spouse, or the
still,
partner is just wilding out. Yeah, dude. That's rough.
So
That's rough. But that's great, man. I love both those. That's fucking rad. My beard went without a fight. It was the easy. I've been growing out these Wolverine chops.
yeah.
We'll see how it goes. Yeah, retired. I'm like retired Wolverine now. If he was like 5'9",
Old Logan. Tattoo.
Old Logan.
Does Logan have tattoos? He's got a couple tattoos, probably.
Nah,
right?
because the healing factor would just heal out the tattoos.
Oh yeah, that
I'm like
sucks.
I'm like Logan with his face, if his face were like a white chocolate raisinette, you know, like
Logan with a I don't know.
tiny little tiny Logan.
This one comes
That's
from,
fucking rad.
Yeah, this one.
You got more?
I got
Just
one
like
more.
goddamn
I got one more
Christmas
from the
in here.
mailbag.
This is great from the mailbag, huh?
Right, yeah. This one's from John. It says, just wanted to check in and thank you guys for the podcast. I listen every Friday and thoroughly enjoy it. The recent bonus episodes have been great too. I've been sober since January 14th, 2016, and just turned 50 this year. 33
Damn.
plus years with it getting worse and worse every year, especially the last few years, which were miserable. I lost a brother to this in 2011 and two of my best friends. This shit is no joke, and it is a drug. Amazing how taking one thing out of my life has had a ripple effect and made everything else better. I wouldn't stop for years because of the FOMO. I could not envision life without alcohol, as everything revolves around it. It's awful how accepted and encouraged alcohol consumption is in our society. We're the lucky ones who go out of that shit show and realize what an illusion the FOMO really is, and what a waste of time what a waste of time / life booze is. I got so used to feeling like shit every day that I had no idea how good I could feel sober and able to think clearly and have fun. LOL. All right, I'm rambling. Sorry. Thank you again, and keep up the good work. So,
Man, John, that's great.
that's
God.
I mean,
That's fucking rad too, dude. Damn.
yeah.
Dude, I always say you gotta turn that FOMO into no-mo, you know? Into
That's
no-mo
good.
drinking,
That's
you know?
good. Yeah.
Yo, little circle C right there. That's a Jerry Wagner copyright.
Yes.
Turn that FOMO into no-mo.
Oh man.
I'm sincerely fucking touched by that, and it's hard to express that without feeling like everybody's like, "Oh, he's just faking it, fake motherfucker."
Mm-hmm.
But no, that means a lot to me, man. Yeah. It's just weird to hear, like, even three people we've never met, even those three, man, like, I'm just some dude in his wife's office. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yes.
I hung out today and, like, played Days Gone and then did a podcast. You know?
Is that good? That one?
Yeah. It's like Sons of Anarchy with zombies. It's dope.
Okay. All right.
Except Sons of Anarchy wasn't that. It was all right.
Yeah.
But this is like biker shit. Anyway.
Yeah, man.
I'm like genuinely touched right now. That is great.
Yeah, I wanted to share those with you.
Appreciate it. Thank you, listeners.
It's great to get these calls from, or get these messages from people that we know and people that we don't know as well, and just it's really, because I know that sometimes I feel like I don't know who's listening, or if I'm trying, I get too worked up in like trying to figure out what the what the stats are from the SoundCloud page to the Apple page,
right,
and all this stuff. And it's like, well, I don't know. We didn't reach X amount of downloads this week, and who the hell is listening to this? And so it's a nice reminder that those things are not important, and that people are actually getting help from this.
Yeah.
And also that we're entertaining. That's
yeah, because honestly, I'm just looking to entertain you and me a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm more looking to make you laugh than anything else.
Right.
Just because I got to crack that fucking John facade, right? I got to get in there and crack it right open.
So yeah, it's pretty cool. You guys know our sponsors. You should go buy a t-shirt, or don't.
Green Camel Press.
Yep.
For all your hand-drawn analog to digital.
Analog arsenal aiming at your arteries.
And then what is it? Gluten is the new wheat. No, who needs gluten?
Gluten is the new Josh Wheaton. I don't know.
Yeah, Steve Glutenberg or some
Steve
shit.
Glutenberg is. Gluten is not your problem. And the other, Rashida and John, is the podcast I do with my girlfriend.
Rashida and John. Yeah.
So
that's all lovely.
With all of that said, today is the letter C, and I would like to, we're going to kind of do a little bit of a combo here, and, we'll see where it goes. But I wanted to talk about connection and finding some kind of connection, especially after last week's episode. And if you go back and listen to last week's episode, there may have been some what sounded like some disjointed conversation a little bit. I don't think it sounded bad, but there were just some like lags in our responses,
right.
Because
it was a delay.
The delay. My computer was like overheating, and there was issues with the FaceTime, and so on and so forth. And so, I thought, oh, connection. We had a bad connection. We have a poor connection, right? And so,
look at that.
Talk about making sure that I have a good connection to multiple things. Whether it be trying to still figure out the connection to my higher power, or making time to do this podcast every week, even if we can't do it on our regular time. We go, okay, well, let's do it here and there and move things around because it's important.
Right.
Or whatever my program is. One of the listeners talked about journaling and meditation, and I was like, oh man, I got to start meditating again. I haven't done that shit in a while.
Same here, dude.
And I don't know why. I don't have any excuses.
Right. It's not like you just do it for 15 minutes. All you got to do is lay still for 15 minutes. Maybe listen to some new age. Or I listened to a Tibetan, the bowl.
Okay.
The bowl. Yeah. Or I listened to this, oh man, why is his name Alan Watts does a guided meditation that's really fucking rad. Yeah, I like Alan Watts, man. I like some of this stuff.
Do too.
Is it Alan Watts?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Not
not Reggie Watts, the comedian?
No, not Reggie Watts. For some reason I was trying to confuse him with the dude who wrote The Watchmen, but that's a different dude. That's anyway, that doesn't matter.
Okay. Yeah, Alan Watts is great. And there was a video game for the PlayStation called I think it was just called Everything. And it was very bizarre and non-linear, and you kind of floated around, and you could become an entire nebulae, and you could go all the way down to becoming like a speck of dust and a atom. It was very bizarre. It was like an art project more than it was a game. It was fascinating, but there were periods in the game where it would be narrated by Alan Watts. It would just be like him talking from one of his lectures. It was very bizarre.
Right. They didn't call him up and they're like, "Yo, Alan,
No.
we know you died in the '60s, but."
We're going
to
do a deep fake. Yeah.
We're going to deep fake you in 1991. Wait, but the PS2 was out in like 97 or 98.
Well, this was brand new. Did I say PS2? I meant PS4. But
oh, it's brand new? Shit, I'm going to have to look for it now.
I'll find it. Yeah, it was entertaining for a little while. I don't know that there's any plot or point to it, but you just kind of do it.
Some of those are great, like Firewatch. Remember when we played that?
That was awesome.
Just walking simulator, just walking around.
But the way that they told the story was great.
Yeah.
So, but back to the thing.
Yeah, it's not really about. We're just being connected to our PS4s.
Finding connection, and one of the things is there's that YouTube video, Kyrgyzstan, or in a nutshell.
It's Kurtz get sacked.
Kurtz get sacked. What did I say?
It's pronounced Kurtz get sacked.
Kurtz get sacked.
Yeah, Kurtz gets sacked with a T at the end, like sacked.
Sect.
Anyway, it's some weird German shit narrated by a British dude.
Right, and they say the gist of the 5-minute video is that addiction, the opposite of addiction is connection, and that they talk about the Rat City. And I've read about this before, and I've listened to other podcasts and videos about Rat City, and then basically the gist is if you put a rat in a cage and you have a bottle of water and you have a bottle of like cocaine water, the rat will go for the cocaine water. But if you have it in rat heaven, Rat City, and it has all other rats and it has food and it has things to play with or whatever, it will inevitably not go for the cocaine water at all. And so the idea is that given the choice between drugs and community, being in love with something that a person or a thing or a project or a hobby or a job that will fulfill you, that you will not feel the desire to take drugs, that like your grandma doesn't turn into a heroin addict because she had a hip replacement and had to be in the hospital. So How do you feel about that summation of alcoholism or addiction?
I think it's.
Because I know you don't. Well,
I think it's kind of dangerous.
okay.
I think it's a little dangerous, this idea of connectivity being the opposite of addiction. It was based off of a study by a guy named Bruce Alexander in the late 70s. He did the Rat City thing. And then this dude named Johann something did a TED Talk on it.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess when this Bruce Alexander guy came out with the study, it was pretty controversial. Like, people pushed against it. And they were like, this isn't really accurate. You're not using the right numbers. But I think dangerous is a hard word. But I think the idea is that if a person is isolated, they won't turn to addiction. I know there's
they will?
more beyond, or no, they. If a person is, I guess the idea is if a person who is isolated, who isn't connected with other people, they have a higher likelihood of becoming an addict. But then the idea is being connected will not cure your addiction, but ease the recovery process. Which I think it'll definitely ease the recovery process. But I don't know, man. I look at it like. It's difficult to verbalize. But the idea is that addiction in of itself is incredibly complicated, and there's a ton of outliers there.
Yes.
So I was connected. Like, I had a good family. I was married. I had a daughter, and still was in the throes of addiction. So then we have to put the idea of genetics into it, and the idea of environment, and the environment I was raised in. And the environment I was raised in was incredibly turbulent, but there was still a family there. There was still connection. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
And when I drank, I mostly at the beginning I drank with you guys. I had friends. I was connected to other drunks. So I think it's only dangerous in the sense that people who are introverts or tend to isolate. I don't like the idea of that being out there in the world like this is the best way. This is the opposite way. I'm like, what about the motherfucker who doesn't want to be around other people? Do you know what I mean? Do they just die?
Yeah.
So, but I do agree with the video in the sense that the war on drugs, the way we fight the war on drugs, that model is incredibly dangerous to our society. It's totally fucking broken the shit out of our society.
By just putting people in prison and then treating them like criminals rather than...
Right. Mm-hmm. Right. So that's why every time I watch, I'm like, God, this is a really oversimplified version of something really complex.
Mm-hmm.
But I like all the other Kurtzke stuff a lot, so I'm like,
Yeah, I do too. Not only are they are informative and seem well researched, mostly, they're cute, right?
Yeah.
I think, and so you would agree with me that for me, the alcoholism was self-diagnosed. There were plenty of people who could have told you before I ever figured it out that there was a problem, but it was ultimately self-diagnosed that I was addicted to alcohol, and the way that I came to understand it and to fix it and to rectify it was through my program, which diagnoses it as or describes it as a spiritual malady, right?
Right.
So. Mm-hmm. That makes a little bit of sense, that connection and being connected to something I love, a hobby, or friends and family, or
right.
or when we talk about finding that higher power and something greater than myself.
Right.
So that makes sense to a certain extent, but I agree with you in that if somebody doesn't feel like being connected and or even if somebody doesn't feel like being around other people, because I understand that feeling very much these days.
Yeah, dude. People are whack.
I don't need that shit. And, wanting to be able to go out there and have empathy and care for people and be excited to meet new people. And some days I'm just like, man, I just need to get into the grocery store, grab this shit and go, and hope I don't run into anybody I know, so that I don't have to talk about it, so I can get home and do the things that I want to do.
Right.
So I think to a certain extent, connection's important for everybody, regardless of whether or not you have
I agree with that.
Substance abuse issues, right? And what do they call it in like the what is it, the DSM MS DS
The DSM, I think it's
but
called
it's called
the
like
DSM.
alcohol abuse syndrome or something. They have
Yes,
a
it's
very
alcohol abuse syndrome. Yeah, so it's in the DSM. Yeah,
in the
the
DSM.
diagnostic. It's the I'll look. We have
Okay.
phones right here. I don't
Yes.
know why I'm not looking on my phone, but
So
yes, it's
and that they talk about it as a medical condition, not as alcoholism, but as a medical condition that has a gradation. Right? There's different levels of your addictive behavior, your
right.
addictive involvement. I don't want to say your because I'm not necessarily talking to anybody out there, but in the book they talk about that in the DMM.
Yeah, the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual.
Thank you.
We're at edition number 4.
DSM. So you go look it up, and this gives you some pretty dry and clinical information about it.
Right.
I have found that being connected to other alcoholics has been infinitely and might quite possibly what helped cure me in the beginning,
Yes.
and even today, even as
Right.
as early as last Sunday, or talking with you.
Right.
Because I go, hey man, I was feeling like this, and you're like, well, that's what happens sometimes.
Yeah,
And it's simple as that.
It'd be like that. It'd be like that, dude. Sometimes it'd be like that.
And sometimes that's all I need to hear, and then I
Right.
go, okay, it'd be like that sometimes. Well,
Well,
then I guess it just be like that sometimes. Then I can move away from it. Now,
right.
I'll give you my personal example. Was I was at a meeting, and there was a lot of good talk, and there was a lot of people that I'm excited to see at least for an hour a week, right? And I left, and I didn't feel inspired or hopeful, or I didn't get the good squishy feeling and happy ray of sunshine that I usually get after sitting with those folks. And I didn't just go like, well, fuck it, this ain't working. But I think it had some things to do with my unresolved issues with my father. When I hear stories of people who have reconciled with children or reconciled with parents, gotten sober, and they're like, I'm so glad. And I heard this thing, somebody said, basically that they were not there for their kids, and it ended up, they had come to terms with the fact that I had to get out of the way for my children to grow up. Like it ended up being a good thing that I was gone rather than being in their life and being destructive, and had to get fixed so that I could meet this person, my child, some years down the road and develop a real relationship. And I was, and then in my head, what pops up is like, why couldn't my fucking dad get out of my way? Why did I have to be and so immediately I'm stuck in my own head about what is my problem and why can't I have what they have. And I was just getting jealous or envious.
Right. Building some resentments. Sounds like somebody's got to break out their little Cub Reporter notebook and do a 4-step. That's all I'm saying.
So, and that's kind of like, that's kind of what this is in a certain way, because, and that's what I came to, because everybody else, and I can't say everybody else, but my impression was that there was a lot of positive positive discussion, positive, sobriety in there, and that I was having my own issues that I need to figure out, that I need to come to terms with, so I can move on, so I can continue to keep that connection, right?
Yeah.
And so it's important. I don't think that I could isolate. Like if I just stopped doing this with you, or if I stopped calling you or stopped texting you, you would probably think like, hey, something's wrong. Whether
John
or not
went out and got fucked up again, dude. Yeah, I'd be like, he's probably drinking. I gotta call him now and be like, dude, are you drinking?
right?
Yeah.
And it would suck.
Yeah. And so I see that the importance of connectivity in that sense. Absolutely. I think what felt problematic to me was the idea that it was all you needed was connectivity. They were like, yeah, see, we fucking took the rats and gave them a home, and now they don't want to get fucked up anymore. I'm like, yeah, I see it, but also, and the same thing with the soldiers coming home from Vietnam. And I really felt like it was a change of environment more than it was being connected. Because if you had taken that soldier's family and put them in Vietnam with them, and every day he had to punch out to go kill motherfuckers and come back, he'd still be doing heroin.
Right.
So it's these
They
kind
would all
of
be doing heroin.
Right? Exactly. Like, exactly. These mosquitoes are as big as fucking sparrows. But I think it's just this round oversimplification of it, which is fine. It's YouTube. We're not asking for groundbreaking shit here, you know. But I do like the point you made, though, about connectivity in the sense of being connected to even art or something, some way of expressing yourself, right? Because I really do believe the core of addiction has a lot to do with isolation, in the sense of not being isolated physically from the people around you, but being isolated mentally from what's going on around you, you know, because, and especially that hopeless feeling of isolation, that desert island feeling that I'm the only one here. I'm the only one who knows this shit. And so I can see the effectiveness of connectivity in going out and hearing other people going, oh, I'm familiar with that desert island. I was on the one right next to you. Do you know what I mean? We should have made a coconut phone or something.
Coconut phone.
Yeah, like Gilligan's Island, dude. You know, like, yeah. But so I can see the incredible value in that. And that has been helpful to me. Even to people, you're like really one of the only other, it's you and maybe one or two other AA people I really talk to. Because I walk into the rooms, I hear what they have to say, I smile, I'm polite, I read the promises at the end. Hell, I'll read the big long how it works at the beginning. I don't give a fuck. I like it, you know, but like I don't know, man. I'm not like, yo, I'm gonna go have barbecue dinner with you guys and shoot the shit because I'm nervous. I don't know anybody. And what if I say some stupid shit? Or, you know, what if real Jerry comes out and just fucking wilds out and says something gross and everybody's like, oh, that dude is,
oh man, you're not who we
super
thought you
uncouth.
were.
Yeah, we thought you were like this convict with a heart of gold, and you just turned out to be a really fucking sensitive crybaby.
Yeah, you're just kind of a gross jerk who likes to listen to Morrissey.
Right, exactly. I'm like, yo, y'all over here at Pornhub?
No, seriously.
No, seriously. Y'all see what's happening on X Hamster? There's no hamsters on it at all.
Yeah, I was looking for hamsters the other day. Oh yeah.
Nah, it's just people fucking.
What do you think about also the connection of we use this a lot because we both use the same calorie counting app, so I'm going to use this metaphor or this analogy.
Go ahead, yeah.
About being accountable. Now, in the beginning, I had I had a mentor, right? I had a sponsor. I had somebody who I would talk to every week, and I would discuss things with, and I would check in with, and who might have questions for me, and who might want to know, had I send me home with homework, you know, that kind of stuff. And but when I had think about this calorie counting app, and we were talking about whether or not to like fudge calories, and you know, how much popcorn did I have, 4 cups or 5 cups, and like, who am I really hurting by saying I only had 4 cups of popcorn tonight so that I can have some watermelon later tonight and then still make it look good on the page or on the phone, on the app. So what do you do to keep yourself accountable, Jerry, to your sobriety these days?
I thought you were gonna ask about the MyFitnessPal app. I'm like, I overestimate. Honestly.
Yeah. So I do too. I overestimate because I would get into those. Like moments.
We were laughing. Yeah, we were laughing because like the only person I'm fucking over is me. It's like I'm reporting into the calorie boss who's like, But as far as my recovery, I forgot the question already. No, how do I hold myself accountable?
How do you hold yourself accountable, or is there anybody else? I mean, whether or not it's your wife, or sponsor, or is there anything you do on a regular?
No, I mean, not really. I do this, and I go to meetings once a week, but sometimes twice a week if I'm feeling a little froggy. But like, I talk to my wife about it a lot, and actually my 9-year-old daughter, I don't talk to her about the crazy shit, but she knows what I am and what I'm made of. But I'm really open with both of them about it. You seem to be my most accountable person. Is I get on this thing every Monday, sometimes Tuesday if I gotta go see a weird movie.
Yeah.
And it's usually you know, and then you'll check in and I'll check in. You'll send me some meme on Instagram, and it's like I don't know, dude. Some Back to the Future meme, but it's like back to the fucking vodka or something.
Hey, if anybody out there makes memes, I'd love to see a Back to the Vodka meme for Jerry.
Yeah, hook it up. Back to the vodka. Except I never drank vodka.
No.
I did drink vodka. I went to vodka once because I thought the whiskey was making me too mean.
Sure.
Turns out the vodka made me just as fucking mean. Who'd have thought, man? Science, hard science.
But I mean, so you talk to your wife, you talk to your, you have talked to your daughter. You and I talk all the times, but it's not like
None
I'm
of
like
this shit is a secret, man.
Yeah.
Like, if I felt like I wanted to drink, I tell her. I'd tell you, but I don't really feel like it. Sometimes I get a little pull. I think we all get the pull. It's the psychological aspect of addiction is the motherfucker. The physical part, write it out. Go to the hospital. If you're sick enough, they'll give you some barbiturates and you can physically write it out, but it's the psychological dependence. Like, that fucking weird mind trick your brain is like, this will fix things, and it doesn't. It just takes a big shit all over him. So I think when I feel that pull and that draw, I either hit you up, and I talk to Megan all the time. I'm like, oh, that made me itchy, or but she was there with me through the whole drunk, so she knows. Yeah. I like to, you know what, and I'm way open. I mean, if there's somebody in the Eugene area who's listening to this and they see me at a meeting, like, talk to me. I'll totally talk to you. I'll be friendly.
Yeah.
I might be a little nervous because I don't want to say some weird shit, so I'm always watching myself. I should just be me, to be honest with you. But it takes time. I'm a work in progress, man.
It's hard to be, to be me.
It is really hard to be genuine sometimes around people, especially in the rooms, because I'm like, oh.
Or even if somebody new wants to talk to me.
Right. They're like, so what do you, and I'm like, dude, I don't even have a sponsor I work with anymore. Like, I'm probably doing this shit the absolute wrong way. Don't listen to me. But then again, I'm saying that on a podcast, so, I got that going for me.
I shared, I shared.
Did you share? You open up?
Well, I shared it at a meeting, and then it was just I got tapped on the shoulder at the last minute. Like, I didn't know it was going to happen. And but somebody else had said, like, they were like, yeah, you're working a really good program, and then I started to think in my own head. I was like thinking about all the ways that I don't, and like what I should be doing, and maybe I don't need to put so much self-doubt into myself about it, because things are working. Right. They're working pretty well, and they can always work better. And I'm, like you said, a work in progress. I'm going to continue to do this, and maybe I'll, crack the book a little bit more, or read something else, or write something else, which I think is, for me, is really helpful, is to put it down on paper.
Right.
So the programs are widely different, and however anybody,
right, and it's all suggestions. I mean, the person who hardlines you and says, this is the way you have to do it or you'll die, I'm like, yo, chill the fuck out, dude. Like, you don't know me personally. Your last 3 sponsees may have died, and that's fucked up, but, like, you don't know you don't know me as an individual. You know me as a drunk.
Sure.
You know that I'm an alcoholic because you're an alcoholic, a game recognized game, but like, I don't know, man. Maybe we are working a good program. Maybe we're working. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I don't want to get drunk. I don't want to drink.
No.
You know what? It's not even that I consciously think I don't want to drink anymore. I just don't think about it as much. And hopefully one day I won't think about it at all. But right now I don't think about it as nearly as much.
No.
It goes away. Yeah, it starts to lessen over time.
Can I ask you, can we go back? And you said that
Let's go back.
Back to the future.
This is going to get uncomfortable, isn't it?
I don't think so. No, I'm just curious.
Nah.
You said your daughter knows what you are, who you are, and like, what was the conversation? I'm just curious because she's what, 9 or 10, and like, I'm just trying to imagine myself as a kid. Like,
well, I mean, if I got sober and she was, I think, like 3 or 4. I got sober in July, and her birthday was in February, and she had turned 4, so she was 3 when I got sober, and so I think she was about 6 or 7. And she was laying on my bed, and I was pulling stuff out of my dresser looking for things, and I had a Chivas bag, like a purple Chivas bag, and it was full of my AA chips. It was full of all my chips, right? And so she opens up the Chivas bag, and she's all, what are all these coins? And I'm like, oh, I get those once a month. I used to get those once a month for not drinking. And she's like, well, what do you mean? And so I had to explain to her, like, yeah, I'm an alcoholic. Like, I don't know, because you're a little kid. I don't want to blow your fucking mind or make it too complex. But basically, like, I used to drink alcohol so much that it was, like, that's all I wanted to do on top, other than anything else, you know. So these coins, I'd get one once a month just to remind me, as an incentive,
Okay.
And so ever since then, she's just kind of known, oh, these are the prizes you get for not drinking.
This is the Cracker
Right?
Jack.
Yeah. Like I get
prizes.
to turn them all in at the end and get a big fucking stuffed bear or something.
Right, their tickets at the skee ball or something
Yeah,
like that.
exactly. Like I just
Counter.
get a shitty fucking Chinese finger cuffs and a slap bracelet that just says "just for today" on it.
FOMO into NOMO. Just
Dude, FOMO
Slap
to Noma, those are
bracelets.
slap bracelets, dude.
okay. I mean, that's cool. Like, I'm just imagining.
She
like,
knows I'm an alcoholic, and as she gets older, the concept of it becomes more apparent. I really hope that barking dog goes right into the podcast. Somebody probably just walked by, enjoying their evening. But yeah, it's I lost my train
Is
of
that
thought.
your dog or my dog?
Yeah, it's Coco.
Okay.
You got a dog?
No, I don't. But there's usually one out in the yard somewhere next door.
Oh no, that's a little Cokes, dude. A little
Okay.
Coco. Yeah, a little rum and cocoa.
Rum and cocoa. We were
wish
talking about
somebody-
your daughter getting more of an idea of it now that she's older. And,
She just it can conceptualize it a little better than when she was 5 or 6, and it comes up every once in a while. And I don't know, man. She's a little kid, so they're pretty accepting. They adapt pretty easily. I mean,
Right.
they adapt to their surroundings quickly. So I think the idea of me being, who or what I am is a lot easier for her to swallow than, say, my wife. Me changing on my wife.
But I mean, she was. Your wife, I'm sure, was quite happy, or at least
She was relieved, but
relieved.
things.
Yeah.
But I mean, how much turbulence is there in the beginning?
Sure.
I mean, it's not as bad as like the crying jags and kicking down a door and threatening to kill myself, but it was definitely like there was a lot of emotional turbulence, man. There was a lot of work and a lot of cleaning up to do. Mm-hmm. There's still a lot of cleaning up to do. There's still things that need to be not addressed necessarily, but mended. They take time. Mm-hmm. That's the thing I think I've learned mostly in my recovery is that things take time.
Yeah.
That's maybe what I'm connecting to. I like throwing that word back
Yes.
in since we're
To
and
loop
then
it in.
creativity. We haven't even hit the creativity yet.
No.
Well, I've been working with Apple Loops on GarageBand.
Yes.
I actually have been, but
Yeah, we were gonna talk about creativity today too, just because I think we were both feeling it, and but yeah, I just
But we'll just
connection
meander down this path.
Yeah, I just like when I think about, because I don't want to say I spend a lot of time alone, but I spend a fair amount of time by myself working on things and doing my own stuff, and so not being, because I have every opportunity to drink, but
absolutely. And you're alone.
right? So I have every
Yeah.
opportunity. There's booze in the house right now that my roommates have. Like there's
Yeah.
gin in the freezer, which is totally like something I would do, and then cut it with some, I don't know, grape juice or something. But something nasty.
Gross.
Yeah.
That's so gross.
But I try to just be. I get connected with, like, and speaking of creativity, is getting excited about something that I'm working on, and even if it's just like finding apps on my phone to do weird, basically, like, I think of myself as the Adult Swim bumper kind of art. That's what I like to do.
Right.
I
Yeah,
like to
I've
do
noticed
weird-
that. It's good.
I mean, some of it's good, and some of it I'm just like, I look at it, and maybe you think it's good, and I go, yeah, I was just trying to figure out that one particular app, or I was just trying to figure out how to do this, or I was trying to connect this to this, and put the video collage with the coloring app and see what happens, and
Right.
but so, and I also am always connected with my girlfriend. I mean, if we don't see each other, we definitely talk. I think FaceTime is a great thing. It's super cool to like have a FaceTime chat with her, and then like, oh, okay, well, I'll say goodnight, and then I'll see you tomorrow, or if we have plans the next day, and that's super cool. But I love being able to kind of be by myself and work on things and whatever the project is.
Right.
And I know that as of late, you've been a little, or you've expressed feeling a little burnt out by it all. And
Right.
I don't know if that's still kind of because it's been
It peaks and valleys, you know what I mean?
sure.
I mean, it's my stock and trade is making art for a living, so sometimes I don't want to do what I do for a living for fun. You know what I mean? Or take like side projects outside of work because I'm like, great, now I got to work more and do it in my house. You know, But I mean, it comes and goes. I still doodle. I still draw every night. I sit with my
Mm-hmm.
iPad and draw for at least 20 minutes. Just because, but I'm compelled to draw. It's just what I do, you know. But yeah, I mean, there's still other creative things. Like I said, I've been fucking around GarageBand. My wife's been doing these video tours for her realty business. So I've been
Uh-huh.
making her like white people beats.
Yeah, no, I've
You know,
been
like
watching
really
them.
innocuous. Yeah, most of the, almost all the music. Well, yeah, you know, I make them.
Mm-hmm.
I make the beats for those with the Apple loops, just trying to figure out how to layer all that stuff, and it's been
Nothing
super
too
fun.
dirty, nothing too grimy.
Hey man, there can't be like too much slide guitar in it, no dobro, nothing weird like that, because then it's like this country home, and it's like no, I can't. It's got to be like lots of fucking, you know, major. I mean, like mellow, upbeat, but major keys, a little jazzy, just jazzy enough for you know these white folks to be like, maybe I should spend that money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you don't ever feel the we've talked about this. I think there's a couple seasons back we talked about inspiration and feeling like you would lose inspiration by not drinking.
Nah, man.
But have you found yourself to be, despite the most recent, you know, I don't want to say funk, but you know, burnout, that you have been more prolific in your sobriety than you were in the last few years of drinking?
Not with painting,
Not
but
with
definitely
painting.
with drawing and drawing digitally, very much so. But not with actually. I've actually slowed down a lot with the acrylic painting, like painting in the garage. But I don't know. But that's because I think I prefer the digital aspect of it more. It's less about the alcohol and more about convenience, and that I can draw on my iPad, sit in the living room in my shorts. I don't have to change into a whole different fucking outfit.
Get covered in
Go
paint.
out and sit in a hot ass garage full of those giant Oregon house spiders and shit. But no, you know, a guy at work asked me the same thing. Oh, do you think your ritual's gone? Like you don't smoke and drink anymore, so you can't paint? And I'm like, nah, dude, I churned out a shitload of paintings sober. You know, it's not like I just quit right when I got sober. It's like I don't really have time anymore either. I'm either at the tattoo shop or like raising a kid.
Yeah.
You know, and when I actually painted more when I was drunk because I didn't give a fuck about raising the kid. I didn't tattoo. I didn't work. I just sat in my garage and got loaded and painted, and then, you know, looked up music videos on YouTube, you know, and posted them.
And posted them
like
on
20
Facebook.
fucking Facebook
I
that nobody
remember.
gave a fuck about. Yeah.
Excuse me.
They're like, oh, he's posting the Pixies again.
Oh, wow.
Oh, look, it's Under the Milky Way by the Church. He's probably crying in his living room right now.
I
So-
found out through somebody who is not on Facebook many years ago that I had this reputation for getting drunk and posting not just music videos, but just long rants and rambling things on Facebook constantly. And so he came up to me and he's like, yeah, I heard you used to do that stuff a lot. And I was like, yeah, man, a lot. I used to do that shit. And you'd be like,
Yeah, you did. Yeah, so did I, though. We were like a tandem team. I'm telling you, I was like the Arizona chapter of John's School of Weirdness.
uh-huh. It'd be
Yeah.
like 2:30, 3:30, 5:30 sometimes, like just up all hours of the night. And it's embarrassing, man. Like
It is embarrassing, dude. I think about it and cringe. Not for you, for me, for when I did
yeah.
it.
No.
When you did it, it was funny because it wasn't me doing it. So I was
exactly,
like,
right?
haha, look at this mess. Yeah.
Uh-huh. But I'm just like, oh God, why would I broadcast it to the world? I'm having this miserable time at home wanting to make it into some sort of spectacle. So
Yeah.
it comes up every once in a while on my timeline, like memories or something like that. And I now just delete them. I'm not looking forward to like next year's reminder. I'm not at that point where it's like,
Yeah.
I need this reminder to remind me where I came from. And like, I have plenty of those rolling around in my
Yeah.
own head.
Yeah.
I'm not too concerned with what Facebook has to show me.
Right. Like 4 years ago, 5 years ago on this day, you decided to write a long rhyming poem that made no fucking sense.
It was just bad. Just really,
Yeah.
really bad.
And then post 5 Ween videos and then a Black Crowes video.
You know me so well.
I know you really well, dude. Yeah.
So speaking of creativity and sobriety, and here's another thing that's that I really like. I heard that somebody once said you often, or like it was phrased like, you often overestimate what you can get done in a day and you underestimate what you can get done in a year. And I think that's true for both creativity and sobriety. When
Yeah.
I think back to my first few weeks and months of getting sober, it was like the day was so long. And that was like, oh God, all I got to do is not drink. Just don't drink. Just don't drink. Just don't drink.
Till you go to sleep.
Till I go to sleep, and
Yeah.
then I'd wake up, and inevitably there was some sort of bad drinking nightmare, and I'd wake up going, oh, okay, God, okay, I didn't drink, but I feel terrible and guilty and sad, and
Yeah.
I would call you, and you'd be like, man, your brain's just sorting it out. Just got to let it, like...
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's like...
And the same thing with creativity and with art is like, there'd be some days where if I wasn't working on something, or if I didn't finish something, or if I didn't feel like working on it, and I was like, man, I feel terrible, I didn't work on this, or I just did part of this, or I only did this, and then it's like I look back over the year, over the last 12 months, and I'm like, damn, look at all these things you did. Like, you actually did produce a lot, whether or not it's seen, by everybody, or it's even completely finished, Whether I don't know how many digital drawings or paintings that you've been doing. I mean, you say you do it all the time these days, just for work and for fun, but
Right.
you have those little monsters, those ghouls. I don't know if they have any.
They're little gnomes.
The little gnomes, the little fucking spooky gnomes.
Fucking gnome home.
But those guys are great. I was almost like, dude, you gotta
Thanks.
send me one of those. I want to fucking. I'm working on this new animation program. I'm trying to figure out, and like where you can take the little thing, whatever it is, and the sprite, and you can kind of give it bones and muscles and make it move. And
Really?
shit.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm still learning how to use it. I don't know how to use it, but I was like, give me one of those. Send me one of those gnomes so I can fucking make it move. But
I'll send you one. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to yawn. I'll send you
okay.
one.
But yeah, I think that for sure for me, creativity is just the motivation and the energy to go and do something. Whether it be filming something or writing something or drawing
Dude,
something.
it could be anything. It could be working on your car, mowing your fucking lawn to make it look prettier. Do you know what I
Right.
mean? Like doing yard work, making dinner, like that who was that? Was that Devin who makes dinner and listens to our podcast?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I do. I listen to podcasts to make dinner. I hate making dinner. I'm the only one in this fucking house who cooks. Damn it, and I hate it. But once I start doing it and I'm listening to a podcast, like I get caught up in the action of doing it and the just being in that moment of like making something happen. Not every time, but there are those little tiny times when it is perfect, and then every other time I'm like, fuck, man, why am I the only one who cooks in this house? Like, but it's even those simple little chores, they're tedious, but there's something to them.
And
They're
they can be creative, and they can be inspiring. And I'm reading this. I'm also doing this Artist's Way book and workbook. And one of the things she was saying, and there's a lot of 12-step correlations to this book. I highly suggest for anybody who's looking to get more creative or wanting to get more in touch, connected with their creativity. It's a good book.
Right.
But one of the things was go bake a cake or do something, like that. And if sugar's an issue for you, then make a fruit salad. And I was like, that's great. Sugar is an issue for me, but I would love to make a fruit salad. So
just get down with some fruit, man. Get fruity.
So I got some peaches and grapes, and I bought a plum, and I got some apples, and even like this afternoon, I came home from the grocery store and I had a bag of apples, and these two deer are outside, and they're not too scared of me. They know that I'm cool, and I was like, I'm just gonna throw them an apple, and I threw like an apple down, and the littlest one, like the smaller one, was kind of nibbling at it, and then the bigger one, who was far away, got up and came over and like shoved the little one out of the way, and like
oh yeah.
Gave him like a kick with his hoof or her hoof.
Oh, word?
Like
Damn.
just whap on the head, on the snout, and started eating the apple. And the little one kind of went away and I just kind of hung out there with him for a little while, and it was cool. It was just like something I wouldn't have experienced had I been.
If you wouldn't have bought those apples.
Well, if I wouldn't have bought those apples, or I would have spent the money on fucking apple cider and sat in my house and watched Netflix and got as drunk as I could.
Been mad at nature. Yeah, fuck you, deer. You don't know about loneliness, hardship, deer.
And I'm like, maybe the deer, I don't know if the deer knows about loneliness, but there's some scars on those deers. Like nature is
Well,
no
yeah, that
joke.
deer just got hoofed in the fucking snooter because he wanted to eat an apple. Yeah, that shit sucks.
And so I threw another one over, and the little one didn't see it or like wouldn't pay attention. And I was like, I was trying to.
Shit.
And then the big one went over and ate the other apple. I was like, look, you're gonna have to get better than this, kid.
Yeah.
But
You're not going to make it very long out here in the tough streets of fucking Sonoma.
so even like the connection with that, like having a moment with the deer, and I think I've talked about my moments with the deer before.
You have lots of them.
Yeah, they're-
with just random animals,
Uh-huh.
man. You're definitely like a real fucking Padre Kino or something.
Who's
like
that?
Padre Kino, he was one of the
Like a Doolittle?
he's the wrong Padre, dude, but he's one of the monks that came through southern Arizona. He helped explore it. He's not the one who was good with animals, though. I think that was like Assisi or something. Anyway, it's some weird Catholic, like
Got
some
it.
crazy Catholic shit. But one of the monks is like this saint of like animals, and that's you. You put a statue of him in the yard in the culture I grew up in.
Oh.
So the animals would come kick it with him.
Right.
Right.
No, they're cool.
Yeah,
They're
that
cool
was
with
a
me.
weird path. Yeah, I'm just saying, you're regular Dr. Doolittle, dude. I don't know.
So, I mean, whatever. I just try to find connections with the world around me in general. I mean, I don't know.
Absolutely.
It
I
sounds
mean,
corny, but
it's not. It is, but it's not. Because we gotta live on it. We gotta live here. We gotta keep being fucking alive till we're not alive. So, might as well appreciate some of it. I mean, like some people don't have to go to the extent you go to, which isn't very far. I mean, it's not like you're out there bird watching or anything.
I've
which is
thought about getting
crazy.
some binoculars. No.
Oh man, bird watchers are shady as fuck, dude.
I would be interested if there's any bird watchers out there. Like, what's a good?
I
pair
know
of
nobody can
binoculars
see
for
my
beginners?
sarcastic
I know.
smile that I'm just like, yo, bird watchers are stay away, man.
Shady.
They're bad news.
Hanging
Heavy
out.
drinkers.
Lurking in the trees.
Nah, man. Yeah, it's good to have a connectivity to anything around you, be it nature or a creative action, or even just reading, getting invested in a story. You know, we watched a movie yesterday called Midsummer.
Yeah.
I was gonna horn this in at some point. And while I'm watching this fucking wild ass movie, which I love, by the way, it was like almost 3 hours long. It's gross. It was real gross
But
and
it was
loud.
good.
I loved it. It was good. But while I was watching it, I realized, wow, man, we're just having a story told to us. Like, you break it down to its basic shit. Like, we're all just humans who want to hear a good story. Breaking Bad TV show is just a good story. It's all stories, you know? You know, it's like the equivalent of my mom reading to me, except my mom never read to me when I was a kid. So, like, it was like me watching the Muppet Show or something, you know?
Well-
You know, but I guess the idea is even being connected to that in a sense. This connectivity, this human connectivity. Like, someone had to come up with this story, and you get to listen to it. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And yes,
I do.
we can be jaded, we can be assholes, and be like, yeah, it's all about making money, but fuck, man, it appeals to you. Even watching like America's Got Talent or something. If the guy who sings has this hardship and it makes you cry, fucking cry. Fuck yeah, love it. Own it. You're a human being. You get to do that. Don't let me judge you. I will judge you, but don't let me.
Yeah, there you go.
No.
You heard it here first. Jerry says, "Go watch America's Got Talent and have
Yeah,
have
dude,
yourself a
that
good
Puddles.
cry."
He had that Puddles clown on there. I cried like a motherfucker. I watched the clip on YouTube. I didn't watch it on TV because I can't fuck with America's Got Talent. Yeah, I can't, man. I can't fuck with any of that shit. I don't like watching them be judged. It makes me mad. Like, don't. But then again, I'm here saying I'm gonna judge your ass.
Yeah.
But I don't like when they're mean to someone who gets up. Like American Idol used to piss me off because these people had, first of all, they were misguided in thinking that this is the way to get to become a successful musician instead of actually just doing the work. A. And B, when people really sang really well and thought they had beautiful voices and that British guy was just like, your voice is shit on the street, you should fucking die. Like, I'd be like, damn, dog.
Yeah.
Oh, did you lose me?
No, you're good.
Oh.
Yeah.
That Simon Cowell's rude is basically what I'm saying.
He is rude. I was just gonna say is like finding a way, like the moments in when I can have a good cry and feel, get in touch with myself, get connected with my emotions, is like
Right.
when I've been running and there'll be a certain song that'll come on and I put them on there, and there's one that and this is gonna sound totally ridiculous, but I'm gonna tell you, and it's a slow song because not all the running songs are going to be fast because sometimes you just got to slow it down, right? And there's this 9-minute ballad by David Gray, and it's a cover of a soft cell song called Say Hello and Wave Goodbye.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really sad. And it's about like unrequited love and like finding love and losing love and not making
Right.
it and all this stuff. But like, and it's great to kind of find like a nice slow rhythm of a jog. And that's when I find like when that song comes on and I'm just like, oh my God, and it just feels really good. And I can kind of get some of that poison out. I know.
No, it's
but-
beautiful. I imagine you running through a vineyard in Sonoma just
That's-
crying your ass off to a cover of a fucking soft cell song.
Yeah.
That's beautiful, man.
Yeah, that's
that. You are
basically-
fucking Gen X. You are so Generation X.
That's exactly what it is.
It's great though. I mean, yeah, I do that. It's just connectivity with anything around you, whether it overwhelms you or doesn't. I mean, with beauty or rote repetition, it's, I think, just being connected with just the experience of being alive. Because I feel like when we drink and when we're in active addiction and active alcoholism, we're not experiencing life at all. We're just experiencing the treadmill.
The drugs or the
the drugs, the veil and the treadmill. You're just waking up having Groundhog's Day over and over again with extra shit to make it harder constantly.
Mm-hmm.
You know, whereas like I feel like within recovery and sobriety, like I get to fucking see shit now, you know. So fuck it, let's do it, you know. Let's mount up, ride up.
Thanks again for listening. Our music, as always, is by Neglect. You can find more of his stuff at neglect.bandcamp.com.
And you can find us on all social media platforms that matter: Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And you can reach us at aisforalcoholic@gmail.com.
Talk to you later.
Yeah.